So let's look a little bit at location of towers first. And this becomes interesting because it's something, again, people don't think about enough and they don't relate to enough. Here's my cross flow tower again. I got hot water in the hot water basins at the top, say 95 degrees. I got cold water coming out, let's say at 85 degrees. And again, remember, I'm assuming I've got 78-degree air coming in the side. I'm controlling my fan speed. I'm going to evaporate 15 pounds per ton out the top I go. Sounds great, right? Now what happens on the air come to that tower if I do something to the cooling tower like put it up next to a building? Think about it for just a second. If I put it too close to the building and by prevailing winds, as you see in the slide coming from the left to the right to the building, and I'm kicking out the top of the tower this warm, moist air where I evaporated 15 pounds per ton, so that wet bulb's got a lot hotter than 78 because I'm adding moisture to it. I'm getting that approach close to 85-degree water up there. So I got this warm, moist air coming out the top well beyond design of 78-degree wet bulb. It might even be 82, 83, 84-degree wet bulb. Now, where does prevailing wind take that moist air to? Over to between the building and the inlet of the other side of the tower. So now that tower is getting warm, moist air and will not give me 100% rated tonnage. And that ain't my fault. I keep using that term in my seminars because people got to wake up. I can't control that. If I'm selling a tower to you, I can't control where you put it. But do you not understand how critical that is? Per CTI, there's a minimum D distance in there to get you away from the building to get rated capacity, CTI capacity out of that tower. And if you violate that, you can't get it, and you're going to have issues. How would you know if this is a problem? Well, if you talk to a maintenance man or an owner or operating person, and they're complaining about, I can't get 85-degree water. I can only get 86 or 87. My condensed water supply temperatures are too high. Well, is it because you put the tower next to the building and it cannot evaporate the 15 pounds per ton? Let's go back to simple things. If it can't evaporate the water, water temperature is going to go up. Secondly, you have higher head pressures. Remember that connection I was trying to teach. Higher condensing temperatures, because if you put it next to the building, lead to what? Higher pressures on my refrigerant side. Wait a minute, that means that my compressor's got to work harder too, and that means your operating costs go up and you can't get the same amount of tonnage. So the last statement all makes sense, I hope, to you. If your condensing temperature is higher because you put the tower next to the building, then you got more work to do to get your refrigerant pressure that high. It all goes hand in hand. Here we go with a typical example. This happens to be a hotel in Wellington, North Carolina, and we got a complaint. That tower up between the two sides of the building there, a nominal 100-ton tower, will not get you 100 tons. I wonder why. And by the way, before you forget it, the tower outside works fine. The one out in the air could get 100 tons. The one between the two walls of the building could not. Take another look at that. What is on that wall up there? You don't want to lick that wall, just picking at you. But what I'm saying to you is, you see the tower between the two walls, that's the airflow. Now, that wall is green. You don't want to get near that stuff. That's going to be bad. Do you begin to understand how the warm, moist air would just wrap around and around and around? There's no way you're going to get certified tonnage out of this thing. There's no way I could get 100 tons. The best they could do was about 50. And to make matters worse, what do you think that exhaust pipe is above the tower? That is the natural gas exhaust for the laundry. If you got natural gas products going out the top, warm, moist air going round and around and around, you got carbonic acid in the tower. So the tower lasted about 6 months, ate away, tore it up, would not get rated capacity, and it ain't my fault. And you guys have got to begin to realize there's some common sense here. You've got to have a little common sense, and you got to start recognizing problems like that. Very common, everyday issue with towers that you should at least use a little common sense when you're looking at one. So there is a minimum D distance away from a building the tower has to be in order to have the CTI rated capacity. In our particular example, remember we had 3 500-ton cells. So this would only apply to a specific brand. So whatever brand of tower you have to go to that specific vendor to see what these dimensions are. This is a particular vendor, but it's not going to apply to everybody. So if I'm looking for the 500-ton tower, over 491 would be the nominal tonnage, and three cells, I'm looking at 12.5 feet is the minimum deep of doggy that I have to be away from the building to maintain CTI certification on my towers. That's a simple statement that you can understand. Here's another one for you. I like towers. I think they're pretty. For some reason, some people do not think they're pretty. They want to put walls around them. You put walls around them, you have the same issue again. You're not going to get rated capacity. In this case, at least the bricks had a few holes on them. You're going to design something like this, go to your vendor, find out what the reasons are, find your tonnage, and they can help you figure these walls out if you want to do it. Every vendor, again, this is called a weld installation. This is another deep doggy. In this case, if I have 500 tons, you can see 3 cells would be 17 feet. I have to have the tower 17 feet away from these walls in order to have a chance at having rated CTI capacity out of these towers. Simple statements, but I think you begin to understand how critical it is to maintain good airflow on anybody's cooling tower to stay out of trouble. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.